My name's Ken Higgins. I'm the rector of St Donard's Parish here in East Belfast. And the verse that changed my life is from the first chapter of Mark's Gospel, verse 17. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will make you fishers of men. This was the words of Jesus in calling his first disciples. Jesus had been baptized by John the Baptist. Then he went into the wilderness and he was tempted for 40 days and 40 nights. And after he returned from the wilderness, the first task was to call his disciples. And he called them with these words, "Come, follow me," Jesus said, "and I will make you fishers of men." That verse was a verse that changed my life. It took place many, many years ago, way back in 1980, when I was training to be a Church Army officer in the college in Blackheath in South East London. I had to write an essay. The essay was entitled, "How Can You Reconcile a God of Love with All the Suffering in the World? Discuss." I wrote the essay with great difficulty. But a few weeks later, I was sent out in placement to work alongside a Church Army sister who was the matron of a hospice, St Christopher's Hospice in South East London. That particular placement was very difficult because it was working with people who were terminally ill and also working with their families who were preparing to lose their loved one. I came back from the placement really confused about my calling to carry on in ministry. I went to speak to the principal of the college, who was very supportive indeed, and he suggested that I went on a retreat and I sought God's will for my life. He arranged for me to go to a retreat in the south of England, and on the way there on the train I prayed that God would really speak to me and show me his will for my life. I went to the retreat, and I have to be honest and say that I didn't get much out of it until Sunday afternoon when we had to assemble for prayer. And during the prayer time I really couldn't concentrate at all because a text of scripture came into my mind. Mark 1 verse 17. Mark 1 verse 17. At that time, I didn't know what Mark 1 verse 17 was. I know the Bible very well, but I didn't know Mark 1 verse 17. And so I couldn't wait to get out of that room, to get up to my bedroom to find out what Mark 1 verse 17 was. When I opened the Bible and looked, Mark 1 verse 17. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will make you fishers of men. And that was a verse of confirmation, I believe, from God, that I should continue to train for ministry. And that was 40 years ago. I've often thought of that verse that really changed my life. And when I think of that verse, I also think that it's very much central to being a Christian. What Jesus asked his disciples to do was to follow him. His invitation was, "Come, follow me. Come, follow me." Often people get confused in regards to Christianity. Jesus didn't call these men to a new philosophy on life or a new political stance. He called them to follow him. Come, follow me. People often get mixed up with Christianity thinking it's a system that you follow. When you ask someone what is a Christian, they respond, someone who believes this, this and this. Or sometimes they would say, oh, a Christian is a very moral person, upstanding and does good works. Now, of course, a Christian has beliefs, and of course the way that they live is very important indeed. But the most important thing is that we're called to follow Jesus. Jesus said, "Come, follow me." Jesus said, "Come, follow me." Then he goes on in the verse and says, "Come, follow me, and I will make you." That's an important thing to remember, is that when we come to follow Jesus, it will involve change. And Jesus changed my life when I first became a Christian, and he continues to change things in my life. Jesus calls us to follow him. I wonder, have you responded to Jesus' call? He calls each and every one of us to follow him. That verse, "Come, follow me," Jesus said, "and I will make you fishers of men." The next verse, verse 18 says, "And they left their nets immediately and followed him." Because Jesus commanded these men to follow him, and it demanded a response. And the response was immediate, and they followed him. I wonder, have you made that response to Jesus' call? Can I ask you to think about that and to respond? The verse that changed my life, and I believe can change your life, is the verse, Mark 1, verse 17. "Come, follow me," Jesus said, "and I will make you fishers of men."